Hi everybody, it's Stephen here and welcome to the Virtual Food Festival, our second Virtual Food Festival live on YouTube. Thanks for joining us here on Sunday morning. It might be a little bit early for some of you, but it's going to be worth it. We've got a fantastic day ahead. We've got some amazing chefs who are going to be cooking from their own kitchens. We've got some brilliant suppliers and some producers, as well as some people from outside of the food world, from the world of sport. We're going to be going all day. We're going to be doing regular slots on the hour and chatting to people in between. The reason why we're doing this whole thing is to help and support really a whole host of food suppliers, the real food heroes in the world of hospitality. And the idea is we're going to have a little bit of fun along the way and hopefully try and raise a little bit of cash, both for charity and also for the suppliers that we're here to champion. The way that you can do that, of course, you're with us here on our live YouTube channel. You can go to the crowdfunder platform. Crowdfunder are our platform partners, and they're enabling us and you to help support those suppliers and charities. So at some point, we want you to head on over. You can either go direct to the crowdfunder website, or you can go through our own virtualfoodfestival.org website, and you can see where you can pledge or donate, and all of the proceeds go to those charities and also to the suppliers. So we're quite ambitious, and I'm broadcasting live from my kitchen in Upline in Lyme Regis, and we've got people dotted all over the globe. And I think our first trip over to see our first guest, we should just keep our fingers crossed that we can connect. This is something that we're doing live. Of course, things might happen and glitches, but bear with us, and let's see if we can make our first connection over to Mr. Rick Stein in Australia. Rick, are you there? Rick, I can see you.
Steve, is that you?
It is. How are you?
I'm extremely well.
Good man. Can I say, Rick, a belated happy May Day? Does that work for you?
Yeah, no, I was a bit homesick, I must say, on Friday, because I've only missed, that's the third I've missed since 1970.
Wow.
So,
Hopefully, this time next year, we can all be together in Padstow and celebrate that properly. Maybe twice as hard.
I should think so. Everybody be so raring to go.
Yeah. So there you are over in Australia, and everybody back here, really pleased that you can join us. We've got quite a different departure. We've got some amazing prizes and pledges, and people have pledged to join us today in the front row. So at some point, we might get some questions from people who've been supporting us on our crowdfunder platform, but we'll bring those in. Yeah, great. We'll bring those in later on. Tell us, what are you going to cook for us?
Right, well, what I'm doing today is a curry. Quite a veg curry from Kerala.
Nice.
And the reason I've chosen it really is because it's an egg curry, and it's called a roasted egg curry, right? Why it's called a roasted egg curry, I don't know, because the eggs are actually boiled and then finished off in the curry, but I just liked the idea of a roasted egg curry. So let's get on and make it. So the main, in one of the important ingredients in this curry is coconut oil, but sadly, there's been a run in Sydney on coconut oil because everybody is making curries, which is a little bit unfortunate. So I've just got some ordinary veg oil that I'm starting to do my frying with. A bit sad, but needs must. But the next ingredient is growing from a tree in my garden, curry leaves. This is a southern Indian curry, and curry leaves appear in many southern Indian curries. So what I'm going to do first of all is just fry them. I knew that was going to happen. sort of. And with those, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. Just get them nicely fine. And then some onions, which will slow things down a little bit. I hope you appreciate my, sorry, I'm just turning the heat down a little bit. My sweet little Indian saucepan. I bought this up the road actually in Neutral Bay a few years ago from an Indian food store. It's not there sadly anymore. It's become an Aussie cafe. But I used to love it because not only did they sell lovely little karais and pans like this, but also they sold every spices in bulk, and I really liked that. So I used to come back with far too many spices and far too much quantity, but it was also cheap. Gone, sadly, but the pan remains. So there we are, just frying off my onions and curry leaves. I might put a few more curry leaves in there because they just got a little bit hot.
It's quite, I find it quite difficult.
Very difficult when you do.
Yeah, it's difficult using an induction sometimes, isn't it?
I know, but it's a godsend because this was only, I don't know, $50 or something, $60. Yeah. It's fantastic because what's great about it, it means that you don't have to be, I'm not cooking on the main stove where I'd be like, going like this to the camera all the time. And actually, it's this pan made out of steel, so it's perfect. Just thinking too much there. Perfect induction. Yeah. So there's my onions that really start to go quite gold now, and the temperature's come down a little bit. And I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic into there as well. Always I find in Indian cooking, it's really nice to be doing a curry again, I must say, because I did the series in India probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And of course, I do cook a lot of curries at home, but to be able to do one for the virtual food festival, quite special. I would just say that the reason I sort of chose using egg was because we get these fantastic eggs in Cornwall from St. Ewe. I'm sure you've come across them, which have the most wonderful deep yolks flavoured. A little bit expensive, but I think well worth paying that different. Excuse me, especially when you're live, things happen like you need to cough. Yeah, and maybe it's a atmosphere. a bit spicy. There we go. Yeah. Now I'm just going to add some cashmere chili that I've cut up. In fact, they're not cashmere chilies. They're actually chili de árbol from Mexico, but they're the closest thing I could get. The thing about when you're in self-isolation, you have to make do with what you've got. That's why a bit sad I didn't have the coconut oil, but at least I had some Mexican chilies. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you. Sorry, Rick. I'm surprised you didn't play the celebrity chef card and get to the front of the queue for the coconut oil. I know. I should. So in years to come, I'll think. You remember that time when I cooked the Indian curry? There was so much curry in the air that I could do nothing but cough all the way through it. I promise that's the last one. Right. So in went the ginger.
We all do that at home.
What was that?
We all do that at home as well.
Oh, good. Okay, now then, it's a sort of curry that I will send the recipe, of course. It does require a number of spices, and as I've always said with Indian curries, if you can make them fresh, the spices fresh, far better. If you can actually grind your own cumin or your own coriander, which are the next two ingredients I'm going to put in there, so much the better. So first of all, we've got some coriander seeds and then some cumin, which I've ground up in my little spice grinder. There we go, a bit more heat. Fabulous, that's smelling lovely. my cameraman is my stepdaughter Olive. Are you liking the smell, Olive?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Now a little bit more, because I couldn't get any curry. It's very weird, the stuff you can't get. This is chili powder, but I couldn't get any. So what I've done is whizzed up some chilies, some flake chilies with a little bit of paprika, just to try and get the Kashmiri flavour. So that goes in there. And then, of course, you need turmeric. They always say in India, just go a bit easy on the turmeric. It makes everything taste a bit medicinal if you don't. So there's all my sort of dry ingredients. And they do quite nicely. Cough, cough, cough. And now it's just a matter of adding, would you believe it, tomato passata. About 200. Sassy just brought me some water.
Nice, yeah. Rick, just while you're taking we're all on we're all on lockdown.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That's all right. Sorry, just while you were taking a little sip there, we're all on lockdown. But I understand that there is a shark spotted on your local beach, and I suspect you're quite happy to be in lockdown.
Well, it's always a little bit of a, and I have been for a few swims very early in the morning at Balmoral Beach, which is probably the beach nearest to me that I use most often. And I must say, I mean, I don't like swimming, but it's sort of something you sort of get used to, really. And you just occasionally think, I wonder if there's a shark out there. But generally, it doesn't sort of bother me too much. But I have to say, I was very, very happy going for a swim at Balmoral Beach the other morning, because much as I'm putting up with lockdown, just getting out there, and it was just a beautiful morning. We just got there just before sunrise. You see their arms looking like that. They looked a bit like sharks. There's something frothing in the water.
Yeah,
something's making it. So I'm just going to leave that to simmer a bit. Thank goodness we've got some water. It's just a little bit dry. I'm just going to taste it. I'll tell you what I haven't added, which I should have done, with some salt and a quantity of pepper. I don't know why, but I'm just a bit of a fan of egg curries. I've got in that India book that I did, I've got like 2 different egg curries. It's just, you know, what were it not, I'm just looking here, were it not for the eggs, this would be an entirely vegan dish. But I just think,
and normally when you think about when you think about India and egg curries, then my mind immediately goes to kedgeree.
Goes to
kedgeree.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, when we did the Indian program, we found a sort of what was probably the original kedgeree from. It was called the Calcutta Club in not Calcutta. I'm the wrong. It was in Madras. It was called the Madras Club. Quite kedgeree as we know it. I think really the sort of British Indian food is in a different sort of. It's almost like a subsection of Indian cooking, because it tends to be milder, and actually. The kedgeree that I tried, I didn't like as much, because I'm so used to the kedgerees that my mum used to make, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Which were just lots of rice, probably previously cooked rice, maybe some boiled eggs, and some smoked haddock is the thing I really liked in them. So when I came to write the kedgeree recipe in the India book, I did tend to make it sort of a little bit more sort of British Raj, I suppose. Interestingly, in India, but only in places like the Madras Club, where they're still alive and enjoyed. the other. There we go. That's beginning to look all right now. So basically, what I'm going to add now is just put my eggs in there, and then I just want to tell you, it's a shame I haven't made it for you, but I'm sort of mindful of the time. Just going to let. I've also I've had a go at making some chapatis, and they're not looking too bad, but I know chapatis really are not supposed to be made with. It's supposed to be made with chapati flour, where you can use a mixture of white flour and wholemeal flour. But I put a bit of yeast in them. I just want to show you this. But, get coconut oil, and you can't get yeast here. I don't know if it's the same back home. So I've started this sort of sourdough culture, which I feed every day, a bit like when I was a kid, we used to make ginger beer with the ginger beer log. Can you remember?
Yes, I do. And they call it, with the ginger beer, they say the bees are working, as you can see it sort of bubbling and fermenting.
That's right.
Everybody's gone mad for making sourdough, it seems, over in the UK.
Sorry?
It seems that everybody's gone mad for making.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So this is my starter, and basically what I discovered some time ago when we were filming in California. I didn't know this, which I should have done, at a place called the Tartine Bakery. But in fact, you can make yeast. You can get yeast out of the atmosphere. Just try water out, just with a little cover to keep the fruit flies off, and the yeast comes sort of floating down from the. Sounds a bit like a virus, doesn't it? Comes sort of floating down from the air, and gets into your flour and water. And after a short while, I mean, like 24 hours, everything starts bubbling, and actually. The sourdough is sour. And what I always used to think was, you know, people used to keep sourdough starters and sort of like 200-year-old starters. People would go on holidays to sort of, when they went on holidays, they would just take a little vial of their sourdough starter in case their houses burned down. Yeah. Well, apparently, I didn't realise this, but it doesn't really make a lot of difference. That basically, the sourdough you make is generally has the local yeasts in it. And I think there is a difference in flavour. So I'm just going to find.
That's all right. Yeah, people keep sourdough starters. It's like having a pet, isn't it? Rick, I've got a question. So we're live on YouTube. We've got people in the front row, but we've also got people who are able to ask questions on the YouTube website. It's from Emma Harris, and Emma wants to know that the sauce or the paste that you're making, could you use it for any other protein? Could you use a chicken dish instead of the eggs?
Of course you could.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the wood that the coconut was in there, but it's just, it's really quite a hot southern Indian curry. And actually, it's quite rare to have tomato in there.
Yeah.
But I've just tasted it. I'm just, to finish it off, I'm just going to add a bit of coriander to it.
Lovely. Thanks for that
but
question.
Does that look all right? I just, I was a bit taken because when we were traveling from Madurai, which is in Tamil Nadu, through to Kerala, and I've called it roast egg curry on the way to Thekadi, which is up in the Western Ghat Mountains. And we just stopped at this little sort of Western-friendly restaurant, which basically means the toilet's pretty clean. But apart from that, it was just the most unatmospheric restaurant you could think of. It was fiendishly hot, and all the curtains were drawn to keep the glare of the heat out. The only decoration was a massive painting of which is sort of like a big elephant's got the god of success.
Yes.
But apart from that, was nothing but tiles. But the food was fabulous, and I don't know. I just love the idea of something simple as an egg curry. You know, it's a bit like it goes very well with Kingfisher beers. I felt at the time as well, but also also the chapati or two. But these I made earlier, and it's just plain white flour because it's all I can get, with a little bit of my sourdough starter in there. And I tell you, they are really nice. I know I shouldn't be praising my own food, but they're really nice.
I think you're allowed to. Rick, you were just talking about pairing with beer. Well, of course, we've got Charlie here to talk about what he might pair with your dish. Should we bring Charlie in?
Yeah, do.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So Charlie will join us. Do continue, finish plating your there he is.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Are you there?
I'm very well. Hi, Dad.
Hello, Charlie. How are you? You'd love
top.
this curry.
It looks amazing. I'm very excited about today. I think it's going to be a great day for food and wine and drink.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it, Charlie? Because I think, what is it, barely 9:30, and we're talking about wine, but it's okay because your dad's over there, and I think it's about 7:30 in the evening.
Well, you can have breakfast wine as well, which is you know, sort of low alcohol and quite sweet as a breakfast wine.
I think that would be very nice, actually. This egg curry would be very nice. Breakfast dish. It's a bit of, you know, when we used to be filming in India, all the crew always just wanted, well, you couldn't get bacon, you'd get chicken bacon, because they don't eat pork, and eggs, that's what they wanted. But I would always go for dishes like this, really, because it's what you do when you're there. Carry on.
Yeah. So, Charlie,
yes.
We've got some quite spicy ingredients there with the egg. And what do you recommend?
Well, so Dad's right there. So a Kingfisher would be perfect, but a more local beer. So we work with Harbour Beer in down in Cornwall, who do amazing sort of artisan beers. So they do a lager and an IPA that would go really well. But I have a strange thing personally with beer and egg. So today I've picked a wine, and as you say, there's lots and lots of flavour in there, lots of spice. So it's a bit of a tricky match, I have to say, Curry. But I have picked a Riesling. So if you can see there, this is Jessica Serwine's Riesling from South Africa. And I actually went to visit the vineyard, and it's amazing. It's called the Crocodile Layer, and it's in Elgin. So it's a really high up in South Africa. And it's in an area where they make huge amounts of appetizer. So it's all commercial apple trees. And you drive through into this valley. It's sort of like the Valley of Eden. And you come down through these willow trees and apple trees everywhere. And you emerge in the most tiny, tiny vineyard you've ever seen. And Jessica took us up there. And she has a big problem with baboons. So there's baboons that patrol all around her tiny, tiny vineyard and come and nick the grapes. And it's called the Crocodile Layer. And this is her Riesling. So it's slightly off dry. So there's a little bit of sweetness. It's only 11.5%. So it's great breakfast wine. But that sweetness will work really, really well with the Kashmiri chilies, or in Dad's case, the Mexican chilies. And then the spice as well.
Well, they have a number of monkeys in Kerala, so I think that would work very well with wine.
It's the perfect match. Talking about being out in the wilderness, you look as if you're in the jungle yourself there, Charlie. Where are you?
I'm in London. Yeah, so this is my fig tree it's grown really tall. So I brought this about 2 years ago, and normally I kill any sort of plant, but this one's growing and it's reached the ceiling. So I don't know what to do now.
Brilliant. Well, just eat the fruit.
Yeah.
So, Rick, we're going to invite some of the fantastic supporters who pledged to come and join you on the front row with Charlie, and
Right.
we're just going to take a moment just to invite them in to say hi and ask a question. You should be able to see them on your screen coming up soon. Charlie, you can hang around
Yeah.
because there might be a question for you too. It's great to see you, fella.
I'd just like to say, so the wine's from a company called Swig, and that will, all the information will be on the website and on my Instagram. But we've worked with them for a number of years. They work with the Pig, and they also work with Nathan, and they're a great company that do amazing wines. So please support them as well.
Good.
Great. And so, Rick, we've got somebody here that we think you might know. It's Scott Donovan. Scott, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
How are you, Scott?
I'm great, Rick. How are you?
I'm pretty good, to be honest.
Very nostalgic this for me. I remember going down to Padstow with you before this fantastic journey you've been on in about 1970. And do you remember we went and had a beer with Malcolm Arnold? And,
I do.
Stayed at Trevose Head, and I've been following your journey, trying to see you occasionally, but your PA always tells me he's in Mexico, he's in France, and now you're locked down in Sydney, but one day we'll meet again.
Well, it would be very nice to catch up, because we've only met about 3 or 4. Before it's too late, I think we should.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Bernie sends her love.
We'll give her my...
I will do. I was just wondering, Rick, there you are locked down in Sydney. I'm locked down in Shropshire. You can see a bit of the countryside behind, beautifully green at the moment. What is it do you miss most about British food at this time, locked down in Sydney? What is it that inspires you?
Well, I miss, I suppose I'm being a bit posh, but I really miss Dover sole and turbot, to be honest, Scott.
Yeah.
It's not that there isn't really wonderful fish here, but the thought of a Dover sole, just pan-fried Dover sole, is a little bit, makes me a bit sad. And also, I just miss the sort of very ordinary food that we all sort of take for granted, really. But, you know, I'm very happy to be in Sydney, and you can actually, the supermarkets now, I noticed when I was last in a supermarket here, have got British sections, so you can get things like Marmites, which is
wow.
a bit special. I like my Vegemite, but Marmite's still my favourite.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. You're not going to retire, I hope.
No. What about you then?
I have retired as a lawyer. I'm really quite frustrated by it all. So I look on with envy with your ever changing interest in foods from all over the world. But I remember you telling us when we went to the restaurant in Padstow that a lot of your inspiration came from your holidays in Goa.
Yes.
Very early on.
Goa, I'm sure that in Goa they'd have an egg curry like this, because they're very similar in background, really, both those parts of India. Christians there, I'm not sure where, maybe the egg curry was a Friday dish.
Yeah, one to try anyway. We'll certainly try that. I tried your scallops with, I think it was bacon and asparagus, and that was a success, I'm told.
Well, that's good to know, Scott. Yeah, that's good. It's like getting your own personal trip advisor to come on and tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scott, it's been great. It's been great seeing you here live on our virtual food festival. Thank you for coming and sharing your questions. And it's nice. It's a bit like rejoining old friends. It's taken a new angle. So
I was trying to work out. I was 22 and Rick was 23. Very nostalgic, but thank you very much for inviting me.
No, it's been a great pleasure. And thank you for pledging on Crowdfunder, because all of that support goes to the hospitality sector, the suppliers and the producers that we all need. And thank you. Take care.
Great cause.
So was that a surprise, Rick?
So yes, it was.
Yeah, I think I I was a bit concerned when Scott was saying, and I've tried several times through your PA, and I thought maybe he's just a celebrity stalker.
Not at all. No.
That's great.
I just, I don't tend not, I'm not there all the time. That's the reality.
Well, that's it. You're busy.
But I wish I
You're busy.
was. I miss May Day.
Yeah. Well, can I just ask before we wrap up and let you enjoy your Sunday evening? Do you fall on a particular side, red or blue, for the hobby horse, or are you partisan?
Well, I've tended always to support the red horse because it's very. There's lots of people in the blue horse that I also, are good friends of mine. But it's political there. We always used to have this this idea, which is not true. I don't know if it ever was, that the red horse collection went to beer for the red horse crowd. Of course, it all goes to charity now, but I just used to think in the old days that that was quite nice in a way. Sort of, I think it's really good that they collect for charity. And Padstow would be more than sad, I always think it's sort of, to the Padstonians, it's more important than Christmas, really. Yeah.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for allowing us into your kitchen, and it's brilliant that you're supporting us, and of course, your whole family really with Ross Geach kind of coming up with this great idea to help support the hospitality sector. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for showing us that amazing dish, and thanks also to Scott for coming on board and asking questions.
Ross, and thanks for sending that lovely picture of you and the girls on May Day. Really sweet. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rick. Take care. Thanks, Charlie. Also, Charlie, you're popping back.
Yeah,
later on. You've got some
Captain drinks for the day, so I'll be popping back with a few more recommendations. We've got some beer and we've got some more wine to recommend. So yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure, mate, and we'll see you. We're going to now interrupt our feed because we're going to go live again at 10 o'clock. We've got the amazing Kathy Slack joining us, and we're also going to be joined by your brother. We've got Jack coming on, and Kim Somaru chatting about what it's like to be a food economist working at the festival. So thanks for joining us. Brilliant first demo. I just want to say we've got some thanks to make to Trevere Farm because they're supporting us today. They're our sponsor. Thanks to those guys, and you can check out their amazing website. We'll put the details on ours as well. And Charlie, thanks for joining us. And you can see all of Charlie's recommendations on the virtualfoodfestival.org website. I'm Stephen. I'll see you back probably just a few minutes before 10 o'clock. Go and make yourself a cuppa.